Well, I've been walking about 2 minutes. I think that's pottery. Yes. Okay. So I'm out here today in a familiar place. A friend of mine has sent me a couple pictures. Said he's been having some luck finding some petroglyphs out on the flats up here. It's a great big mesa with a lot of flats, so just wandering randomly is a tough way to find petroglyphs, but he's given me a rough idea. So a prerequisite for finding rock art is finding rocks, and out here on the flats they're sort of scattered about. Here's a bunch. Now most of them won't have any decoration, but some will, so that's what I'm going to be searching out today. Here's a piece of white pottery I just picked up. It's not very common on this mesa. We're mainly to see the plain brown. But there's more pottery around here. And I just noticed a little petroglyph. First one of the day. I don't believe I've ever seen these before. A few animals. I think there's 3 on top, and maybe even down below that's a little one. So that's nice. May have to look at these other rocks. See a little guy there. Well, there's some remnants. That's an animal, and that's an animal, and obviously we've got some antlers there, but unfortunately it's otherwise degraded. And right behind I just noticed another one or two. What's that? Could be one on the side. Little rocks on big rocks. A little bit of a mystery, but I believe the ancient people piled them there either to help growing there as a nursery or to just clear the area. I'm not sure. Next sort of rock concentration. Here's a little one on top. Interesting, that hole looks like it has been worked in some way in the past, judging by the light color around where the patina's been knocked off. Oh, here's something on these. On this one, that's not a bad little petroglyph. Small. And you can see there's some other marks, although they don't show anything very impressive. Well, another little rock concentration. This is interesting. This sort of square feature there. I think that's got to be a grinding feature, although it's not deep at all. Funny, normally something like that would be deep enough to make it clear that it was a grinding trough, but must be what that is. Well, it just came up on these rocks, and I can see some petroglyphs right here on this one. Look at that. That's very repatinated. That's just sort of a stick figure. Elk or deer. It looks like a big rack. Very skinny otherwise, as near as I can tell. Over here we got another one, and probably a bit of a degraded person below. Maybe some grinding which has taken the patina off up there. Same area, another pretty good sized piece of pottery, and I just noticed this looks like a line of rocks here, sort of in a place where the grass didn't burn. so it doesn't show up so well. But very possibly man-made. You can see it may have been a ruin here. Fortunately, again, a place where it didn't burn, so you can't see it very well. But given the pottery, it could be a small habitation site. Well, I've been walking around this big rock area for 5 minutes. I finally see something. A little circle. There's another one of these probably natural holes that has been used and maybe enlarged. I've been doing a lot of walking, but not very much finding. Where are you guys hiding the petroglyphs? I know you know. That one doesn't belong here. Yeah, this would have made a good hammerstone. Looks like it's been banged a little bit. I don't know what it is. This green rock is quite heavy. We're, you know, in an area where there's a fair amount of stuff. Not just exactly right here, but that's probably something somebody brought in. Well, I'm giving up. Couldn't find anything except for those little things right at the beginning. Well, if I make a video out of this, this is day 2. I was out here a couple weeks ago and only found small things. But I'm back. Gonna try a little harder, walk a little further in places I haven't been. Well, I'm not finding any petroglyphs yet, but there's a horseshoe. First one of the day. At least I'm not going to be skunked. Not a great example, but that is an old, well, it's spiral or concentric circles sort of wearing off this rock, but there's a lot of other rocks around here to look at, which I will do. You can tell you're on a pretty flat mesa if that rock is where is the high point that the hawks perch on. I'm still in the same rock grouping, looking around, and this is sort of a suspicious looking thing, this sort of pile of rocks with the grass growing out of it. It's a concentration of rocks. I would say it looks like it could be a small ruin, single room or 2-room ruin, although I don't clearly see the perimeter except for the edge of this sort of square of rocks. But then I noticed there is some pottery here, so it's a little bit confirmatory. This is looking at it from the other side. I've been walking around, but I think I spotted one over there. See those hash marks there on top of that rock in the center? And it's interesting. Here's some big rocks piled on a big rock. Somebody put those there. Let's go over and look at this thing though. Oh, look, and here's a couple right here too. Okay, we're finding something here. That's good. It's a little squiggle, and well, they're both squiggles. One of them's open and one of them's closed. That's not bad. But this is what caught my eye over here. Somebody's keeping score. May have been something older and fainter underneath. But that's not bad. And looking around, I see another interesting one over there. That's got fainter but longer lines. Let's go see that one. Again, it's nice to run into these things on the flats, because most things on this mesa are on the edge, both the ruins and the petroglyphs. So finding them here in the center is a lot of work. You don't know where to look. Try to get that without my shadow. It's obviously a lot of vertical lines. There may be a sort of an arc at the top connecting them, but it's coming off mainly. There's a lot of rocks here. Okay, I see a couple petroglyphs, better ones. So that's good. Let's go over and see this one first. That looks like a deer or an elk. Pretty nicely made. There's another one over here on this rock. That is a little hard to see, but that looks like a very old, because it's you can get the impression of it, but you can't really see it. It's spiral or circles right there. Anyway, the one I saw, I think, is over on this side. Another animal, and I don't know, some things around it. Well, it's sort of cool. I walked down, there were these biggish rocks. I have been walking up there, and this is sort of a little draw. This is not enough water to actually dig a hole, although interestingly enough, there's a hole where the big rocks are, but there's some petroglyphs here. I think you can probably see. I'll get a little closer. Some look not so bad. Well, that's clearly an animal on the right there, lower right, and a person. I'm not sure what that thing is in between. Something sideways maybe, but there's a person over there. See down here there's a little circle thing. There's some more stuff up top, an animal there. On this side there's a number of things. Before I go over and look at that though, I see just right here is quite interesting, because there's a, if you look, there's some pretty decent animals right there, 3 of them in a row, and it goes around the corner and there's another one there. And if you go over onto the rock next to it, there's another one. So let me step over and get over to this side. There's a doe there sideways. I'm not sure what this multi-legged thing is here. Sort of interesting. That's what I've been calling a ghost, sort of a person that you can see his shoulders and arms and a bit of his body. And here's the things we saw from the other side. So that's not bad. There's some petroglyphs here. And I see also one over here that's sort of coming off, but it's actually pretty nicely made. Nice antlers. That's a deer or an elk. And looks like a guy next to him. Unfortunately, quite no patination, so he doesn't stand up very well. Not a bad grouping. We're out here on the flat. I see one over there. Well, that's a simple human, I would guess, with a little thing above it. Somebody put those there. That's sort of an unusual standing stone there. It's I don't think it would be standing naturally. It's got a little bit of a dimple on one side, but look how thin it is. It's almost like it's set up like a headstone, but it didn't look very grave or anything. I don't know, just sort of interesting. Well, a little bit disappointing day. Walked, I walked over 7 miles. I saw about 10 million rocks. I saw a few petroglyphs, a few new ones, which I always enjoy, but nothing to write home.